Ah yes, this is the Sony Ericsson Satya, which I'd planned a Phone Show 96 around. Sadly, despite terrific hardware and just about the best phone camera on the planet, it seems that Sony Ericsson put it on the market too early. It's got a number of serious bugs and has been withdrawn from sale in many places, pending the firmware being fixed up. You'll remember that I delayed my main Nokia N900 review for ages because I was waiting for a stable, usable firmware, and I'm giving Sony Ericsson the same chance here. Sony Ericsson, I want to love this smartphone, get it fixed up, and then we'll see it back on the Phone Show where it belongs. Google Maps navigation is now available for Android 1.6 devices, not just the new version 2.0 Droid, in the USA at least, though you can seek out hacks to get it running on Android devices in other countries if you're brave and willing to do some research. It'll take a while to legally be available for other countries due to map licensing issues, and also for other mobile platforms, of course. Watch this space. There's a bunch of major firmware updates for Nokia's E75, E71 and E66, though note that the latter two devices are old enough that you'll have to back up and restore your data. Thankfully, all current Nokia smartphones have full user data preservation. Skyhook, the guys who do the worldwide Wi-Fi hotspot database and who are behind the positioning partly used by the iPhone and iPod Touch, have released a Symbian plugin, Maps Booster. It's a couple of quid, but plugs seamlessly into Symbian's positioning stack and means that any location-aware app on your smartphone can now pull in cell tower info, Wi-Fi network location and GPS, of course. Works superbly in most towns where it's often hard to get a GPS satellite lock. In a frighteningly open day-long webcast, Nokia has opened up to the world. In its annual Capital Markets Day, Nokia has laid out its master plan for 2010 and beyond. Use this link to see it all for yourself, but here are some highlights. They will deliver their first MIMO 6-powered mobile computer, note they're not calling this a smartphone, in the second half of 2010. MIMO 6 is the first version to have its user interface built entirely on top of Qt, that's Qt, which will also form the core of the UI in Symbian 4. Symbian 3, which we'll see in Nokia smartphones in the second half of 2010, will add multiple home screens, consistent one-tap navigation and multi-touch, along with near-field communications, graphics acceleration, CalDAV support, HDMI out and improved Bluetooth. Among the many interesting slides shown here, it's obvious that traditional numeric keypadded smartphones are being phased out completely. Instead, there will be an even mix of all-touch, all-QWERTY, e.g. the E72, and a touch QWERTY mix. Somewhat inevitable is the drop in pricing of Nokia smartphones in the next couple of years. Amazingly, 11% of Symbian smartphones from Nokia will cost less than €100, SIM-free outside of taxes and subsidies. The push of smartphones into the mass market really is underway. At number 10, Google app. It's free. This had to be in there, a great version. Just raise it to your face and activates speech search. It really is quite accurate now, even if it still gives the odd hilarious error every now and then. At number 9, Kev's cheating slightly. Spotlight search from Apple. It's built in. This allows him to search quickly across everything on his iPhone. You can control both what it searches and in what order. You can simply drag and drop the apps to the order you want them searched. This is Kev's most used feature and is accessed either by clicking the button once when on the first home screen or by swiping left from the first home screen. At number 8, Audioboo. It's free and a great find from Kev here. You can use this to audio blog anything in great quality right from the iPhone. Kev's been using it to audio blog for the Phone Show Chat podcast. You record the iPhone, hit publish, and it's uploaded to the website where it's accessible by anyone. At number 7, it's the brain you always wanted, Evernote, an online synchronized source of text notes and graphics, everything you ever want to remember. At number 6, TomTom UK and Ireland at £60, probably the most expensive iPhone app any of us have ever used, but it's still pretty good. At number 5, Instapaper Pro, £3, but there is a free version as well. You set up an Instapaper account and then can save anything from a web page to it using your browser on either your laptop or iPhone and simply use the app to view your saved stuff later. At number 4, Echophone Pro for Twitter, £3. There is a free version as well. This used to be Twitter Phone, but it's now been renamed. Very nice, changeable font sizes, there's a gimmicky shake to refresh, and a very clean interface. At number 3, eReader, free, a great little app, allows you to read thousands of books from FictionWise and a couple of other websites. These are not freeware books, but full DRM'd blockbusters. You can set up your account at eReader.com and there's a nifty little feature to send all your new purchases to your iPhone or iPod Touch so that when you next fire up the app, your new book is ready to go. At number 2, Remote from Apple, and it's free. Yes, a bit boring, but very, very useful. You can link it up to your iTunes library on a PC or Mac, and then it displays all your content on the iPhone and allows you to choose what to play. If you hook up your PC to your TV and Hi-Fi, this little app makes selecting music, video, and podcasts a breeze. But at number 1, Mobile Air Mouse, £1.20. This does for your full PC what Remote does for iTunes. You can control your whole PC from your armchair. A truly superb and silly cheap app.
Hi Steve, my name's Scott and I'm from York in the UK, and this is my user story. For a long time I used the iPhone 3G and then subsequently the 3GS and absolutely loved it. The App Store was fantastic, the UI a pleasure to use, and video and photo capture on the 3GS in particular came up with excellent results, and for a while I became very ignorant to other devices from different manufacturers. Then a month or so ago I started to become tired of spending too much on the App Store, the lack of multitasking, and I wanted to try a new device. I ended up getting the Nokia N900 Classic in white. Its QWERTY was the killer feature for me, along with multitasking, which was something I had missed. But a stained white keyboard and a yearning for the latest version made me get the N97 Mini, which is everything the N97 Classic was, but in a smaller, sexier body. Having used the Mini for around a week, I loved it, but the battery was appalling. I was having to charge it twice a day. I don't know if mine was faulty or what, but I eventually got tired and moved to my current device, the HTC Hero. It's my first Android device, and I'm still getting to grips with the OS, to be honest, but I'm loving it. The potential of the OS is limitless, I think, and over the next year I think Android are going to become massive players in the smartphone game. The main features I use are Spotify, Twidroid for my Twitter needs, and Google Listen for podcasts. I also think the web browser is very good, nearly as good as the iPhones. I hope you've all enjoyed this. Thanks.
As with the Sony Ericsson Satio mentioned earlier, devices keep getting launched, which patently aren't finished items and which really need me to be patient before covering them in detail. In the case of the Nokia N900 shown here, even Nokia admit that it's a work in progress, and I quote, "The N900 is an interim step with strong appeal to the enterprise and to the difficult US market. The Nokia N900 shows where we are going with MIMO." In other words, the N900 is for early adopters, geeks and developers, with a follow-up planned for spring 2010 with more polished hardware. I'm guessing a capacitive, slightly bigger touchscreen and with far more complete software, all ready for sales into the Nokia N series traditional, very top-end phone market. As you'll have gathered from the news section, the N900 doesn't run Symbian OS. Nokia has admitted that MIMO, as here, will take over the very top of their smartphone range in the next few years, with blazing fast processors and an emphasis on performance, web browsing and multimedia playback. Symbian, with its emphasis on power efficiency and traditional telephony, is best suited to the middle tiers of the 2012 phone world, curiously ensuring that Symbian's world smartphone market share will become ever more dominant, though the term smartphone itself, as I noted in the renaming of this very show, is going to have to be redefined at some point, I suspect. I'm meeting up with Symbian CEO Lee Williams in a few weeks to explore the future of Symbian and Nokia, so watch this space for a video interview. In the meantime, the visuals here should hopefully have given you a feel for the N900 as a product in its own right. Specifications are superficially similar to the Symbian-powered N97, Wi-Fi, 5 megapixel camera, GPS, QWERTY keyboard, 3.5-inch resistive touchscreen, FM transmitter and so on, but with an ARM Cortex-A8 600MHz processor with PowerVR SGX graphics. In other words, lots of graphical oomph for the MIMO 5 interface and general eye candy. The N900 is a chunky beast, though, at 180 grams and 60mm wide. The biggest drawback, apart from the immaturity of MIMO 5, is the smallish battery at only 1320 mAh. I'd like to see something much bigger in a tablet phone of this calibre. I'll have more on the device and my own opinions of MIMO as a Christmas present for you in an upcoming phone show.